She was my everything until I discovered her year-long affair with a married man. Now she's pregnant. My boss is involved, and my world is collapsing. When I first met Emma, it felt like fate had dropped her into my life at the exact moment I needed her most. I'd just gone through a rough breakup, a messy one, where my ex had left me for someone else, shattering every bit of confidence I had. I wasn't looking for love. Honestly, I wasn't looking for anything at all. But then came Emma. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party. She wasn't the loudest in the room, but she was the one everyone noticed. Her laugh carried, her smile lit up the space, and for some reason, her eyes kept finding mine. By the end of the night, we were sitting on the back porch with 2 half-empty glasses of wine, talking like we'd known each other for years. It was instant. It was effortless. Emma had this way of making me feel like the only person that mattered. She asked questions no one else bothered to ask. She remembered details, little things like the story of my grandmother's old house or the fact that I hated pineapple on pizza. She'd text me first thing in the morning, good night at the end of the day, and in between. It felt like she was always there, always thinking of me, always reminding me that I wasn't invisible. Within months, we were inseparable. Dinners turned into weekends together. Weekends turned into weeks. Before I knew it, she was practically living at my place. Her toothbrush was next to mine, her clothes hung in my closet, her books stacked on my shelves. My apartment wasn't just mine anymore, was ours, and honestly, I loved it. Emma was beautiful, yes, but that wasn't what got me hooked. It was how she made me feel. She had this warmth, this energy, that made every room brighter. When she looked at me, I felt like I was worth something, like I mattered. And after everything I'd been through with my last relationship, that meant everything. For the first year, life was perfect. Or at least, it felt perfect. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. We cooked together, burned meals together, ordered takeout when we gave up on cooking altogether. She'd play her favorite songs and dance around the kitchen in one of my old t-shirts, and I'd sit there, wondering how I got so lucky. We talked about the future too. She'd joke about our wedding someday, about kids, about where we'd live when we got old. I'd play along, pretending to roll my eyes, but secretly, I wanted it too. I could actually see Emma and I building a life together. But looking back now, I realized the first cracks were already there. I just didn't want to see them. It started small. Her phone, for example. In the beginning, she'd leave it lying around, face up on the table, or buzzing on the couch while she showered. But after a while, she started keeping it close. Too close. She'd take it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom. And she always kept it face down, like she didn't want me to see the screen light up. When I asked about it, she laughed it off. Oh babe, it's just a habit. You know me, I get distracted too easily. And maybe she was right. Maybe it was nothing. But something about the way she said it, the quickness in her tone, the way her eyes flicked away from minute nod at me. There were other things too. Nights when she'd stay late at work, even though her office usually closed at 6. Random new friends I'd never heard of before, people she swore she'd mentioned, though I knew she hadn't. Little changes in her stories. Small inconsistencies that were easy to brush off but harder to forget. At first, I convinced myself I was being paranoid. After all, I'd been cheated on before. Maybe I was projecting. Maybe I was still broken. Emma loved me, I was sure of it. She showed me every day. She told me every day. So I swallowed the doubt and smiled through it. But the truth has a way of clawing its way to the surface, no matter how hard you try to bury it. And deep down, something inside me knew Emma was hiding something, and whatever it was only a matter of time before I found out. The thing about betrayal is that it never arrives all at once. It creeps in slowly, like water seeping through tiny cracks in glass, barely noticeable at first, until one day the whole thing shatters. Emma and I still had good days. We still laughed, still cooked, still fell asleep tangled in each other's arms. But between those moments, shadows grew. Little things that didn't add up. Her phone became the biggest one. At first it was subtle. She'd tilt the screen away when I walked by, or lock it the second I came close. When I joked about it, "What are you hiding, secret boyfriend?" she'd laugh and say, "Just memes, babe." You'd die if you saw my search history. But the laughter always felt forced. I noticed she changed her passcode too. Not once, but twice. I only realized when I picked up her phone to hand it to her, and the old code didn't work. She brushed it off. "Oh, I thought you knew." I had to change it because of work. They make us update security stuff all the time. Her explanation sounded reasonable. Too reasonable. Like she'd prepared it in advance. Then came the late nights. Emma worked in marketing. Her job wasn't exactly life or death. But suddenly, she had endless projects that kept her out until 10, sometimes 11. She'd text me around 7. "Hey babe, don't wait up. I'll grab food on the way home." At first I believed her. But after the third week of this routine, doubt started gnawing at me again. I asked if I could swing by her office one evening, maybe bring her dinner. She froze just for a second, but long enough for me to catch it. "No, it's okay. We're in meetings. I wouldn't even get to sit with you. Meetings at 9:30 p.m. Really, the thought sat heavy in my chest, but I swallowed it down. I didn't want to be that guy, the paranoid, clingy boyfriend. That was what my ex had accused me of being, back before she cheated. I refused to become that again, but the more I ignored it, the louder the cracks became. One Saturday, Emma said she was going out with a friend from work. She didn't name the friend, which was unusual for her. When I asked, she said, "You wouldn't know them." Then she left in a dress I'd never seen before. Tight black, elegant. Not something she'd wear for casual drinks with a coworker. I watched her leave, my gut twisting. That night, I couldn't sit still. I paced the apartment, checked my phone every few minutes. She didn't text. Not even once. At midnight, I finally heard the door unlock. Emma walked in, her cheeks flushed, smelling faintly of alcohol and perfume not hers, but something stronger, heavier. When I asked how her night was, she smiled too wide, too bright. "Great. We had a blast." And then she rushed into the shower before I could ask anything else. I sat there, staring at the bathroom door, listening to the water run, and for the first time, I felt something break inside me. It wasn't proof, not yet. But it was enough to change the way I looked at her. From that point on, I started noticing everything. The way she'd angle her phone when she texted. How she suddenly had inside jokes with people I'd never met. The faint marks on her collarbone one morning that she claimed were bug bites. How she always seemed tired, distracted, like part of her was living somewhere else. And then there was the money. Emma and I split rent and bills evenly. She always paid her share, no issue. But one day, I noticed her bank app open on her laptop while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping, it was right there on the screen. What caught my eye wasn't the balance, but the transactions. Repeated charges at fancy restaurants, hotel bars. Even a boutique I knew she'd never shop at. She hated designer clothes. When I asked her about it later, casually, she said, "Oh, work stuff, clients. You know how it is." Except I didn't know. Her company wasn't exactly whining and dining CEOs. And even if they were, why wasn't she expensing it? The cracks were spreading fast now. I started having trouble sleeping. Nights stretched long, my mind racing through scenarios. Every time Emma's phone buzzed, I felt my chest tighten. Every time she smiled at her screen, I wondered who was on the other end, and still, I said nothing. Because here's the cruelest part. Even as my doubts grew, so did my love for her. Or maybe it was my fear of losing her. The thought of confronting her, of hearing the truth that she didn't love me, that I was being played, was unbearable. I'd rather live in denial than face the possibility of losing everything. But denial can only last so long. The breaking point came on a Wednesday night. Emma said she had to stay late at the office again. I pretended to believe her, kissed her goodbye, and told her to be safe. But as soon as the door closed, something inside me snapped. I grabbed my jacket, my keys, and I followed her, not in a dramatic way, no speeding cars or movie-style chase. Just me, walking a safe distance behind. Heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. She didn't go to her office, she didn't even head downtown. Instead, she took a cab across the city, to a part of town I rarely visited. I kept my distance, trailing her from half a block away. Finally, she stopped in front of a restaurant. A dimly lit, upscale place with valet parking and champagne on the menu. And then I saw him. Tall, well-dressed, confident. He stepped out of a black car, smiled, and kissed her cheek like it was the most natural thing in the world. Emma laughed, the same laugh that used to belong to me. They walked inside, together, and just like that, everything I thought I knew about her came crashing down. I stood frozen on the sidewalk, staring through the restaurant's glass doors like someone who had just woken from a dream and realized the nightmare was real.